So thank you for joining. Let's just start by lying down. So come on onto your mat. And Ken, are they muted now?
They are muted.
Okay, so you're on mute, I'm on sound. Let's just lie down on our backs here and settle for a moment. You can either have your legs straight or bent, and close your eyes. And allow your breaths to move through you. And we can just let go of the conversation we were having. Letting go of the setup and arriving here and just allowing ourselves to be here. And just shifting the focus inward, feeling your arms and legs, your belly and your back. Becoming aware of your chest, your throat, your neck. And letting your head relax, your eyes and jaw soften. And just allowing yourself to be aware of any tension in your body. Just letting your attention rest throughout the body, any areas that feel tight. And you bring your attention there for a moment and just breathe into those areas. So shifting from an idea of trying to change what's going on in the body and just allowing things to be as they are. And as you're ready, we're going to begin a little bit of movement. So we bring our knees into our chest here. And you can start to rock a little from side to side. And just noticing how that feels here. See how far you can rock over to each side. So you might let your head kind of drift with you. And then come on back to the center as you're ready and start to circle your knees apart and back together. So these can be little circles or bigger. Try the other direction too. Nice circles here. Okay, stop. Okay, and then let's just bring our right knee to our chest and lengthen the left leg out long and just gently hold with your hands, relax the shoulders. Allow your back to feel long and through your neck. Relaxing here. Feeling the waves of breath moving through you. And then as you're ready, just change sides. Bring in your left leg, stretch out your right leg long. Just a moment here to lengthen through the spine. Relax the shoulders, so soften the grip, just hold gently. Feel the space at the back of the neck here, nice and soft. Lots of space inside the mouth. And just so soft yet deep breaths rolling through us. Okay, and then we're gonna put both feet down, so our knees are bent here. And give yourself some room to stretch your arms out to your side, and you can just begin to rock your knees a little from side to side. Rocking from side to side, I'm gonna let my head turn opposite the way my knees are going. So head is turning opposite the way the knees are going. And let this movement be kind of slow, so don't go too fast. We're gonna add on here. So as I turn my gaze, I'm gonna open my palm. And then as I turn my gaze again, I'm gonna roll that palm down, open the other palm. Okay, so our arms are gonna start rolling here. And you can kind of go beyond that initial just opening, like really roll up onto the thumb. And on the other hand, rolling down onto the thumb as well. So just rolling through the hands, arms like rolling pins. And it should feel a little bit like when you wring out a tea towel or a cloth. So you're just kind of moving the energy through your arms and through your hips and through your spine here. And at the same time, make sure it just feels easy for you, not straining. Just getting some energy moving. Okay, and then let's come back to center, bring our arms by our side, walk your feet to about hips distance. So just take your arms up skyward and then lower your arms overhead. And then come on back up and come down by your side. And you can breathe in as you go up and breathe out overhead if you like. And breathe in, coming back up, and breathe out down by your side. And as we do this, let's just think about the ribs staying a little bit heavy here. So your front ribs towards your back ribs, so your back is staying along. Nice. And the next time that your arms come up towards the ceiling, let's just turn the arms in and out a few times. So kind of like what we were doing before, internal, external rotation, but we're just turning them both in and out here. And then let's start to take them overhead while you're turning them in and out. So just noticing how that feels in the shoulders. Don't feel like you need to come to the ground, just move the arms here, and we'll go up and down a couple of times as we turn it up. Okay, we'll make this our last one. And let's turn our arms out a little bit at the top, and then maybe stretch the legs out. So we've got a big long line. And as we do this, let's try to keep the belly drawing down a little bit towards the floor. Or in other words, think about your pubic bone kind of rising up a little towards your chin so that your back feels really long here. And then we're going to stretch out the left side a little longer than the right. And then the right side a little longer than the left. And we'll go back and forth a few times from side to side. And you might notice that your head just kind of wants to roll with your movement here. So allowing that. But at the same time, try to keep that length through the back. Okay, we'll do a couple more. I hope you're enjoying this nice movement, opening up through the waist, and through your shoulders and hips. Okay, one more on each side. And then go ahead and return to center. You can bring your feet back to the floor and lengthen the arms up. And again, we're going to just drop them to the floor here. Let's stretch with the left leg first. And with the right foot on the floor, I'm just going to push into it a little bit and lift the hip. And then come back, nice and slow. So really, this is kind of like the twisting that we were doing, just in another way. Lifting and coming down. So it's the pressure into my right foot that's allowing that to happen. You might notice that your left foot sort of drops out to the side. One thing here is just keep that right shoulder heavy as we do this. We'll do a couple more. Just rolling, twisting, and then coming back. Nice. Okay, let's do that on the other side too. So left leg bent, right leg long, nice and long through your spine. We're just gonna press a little bit and do a little lift to start. And then just keep that going. Maybe a little more each time. So notice how it feels on each side. It might feel different, and you're welcome to move your arms too, like a little wider or narrower, whatever feels good there. Just playing with that gradual lifting. Okay, and then coming back through to the center here. Let's stretch both legs out long and just start by windshield wipering or moving from side to side. So one leg is going to internally rotate as the other externally rotates. And just notice how your hips also move. This is kind of like what we did with our knees windshield wipering. Yeah, it's a little bit side to side. Okay. And then let's let our head move the opposite way. So I'm going to slow down a little bit as I do that. And then we're going to do the same thing with the hands as we did before. So as I look to my palm, it's open, the other palm turns down. And then I'm going to switch sides. So just a little bit of internal, external rotation. Remember, your arms are like rolling pins, so they can start to do a little bit more. I'm going to let you go at your own pace. I'm going to do a couple more. And then finishing that off and coming back to center. Bring your knees again to your chest here. Let's just hug them in for a moment and rock a little bit side to side. Just like we began. Okay, and then put your feet down on the floor here. And raise your right leg skyward and press out through your heel a little bit. Don't worry if your leg isn't totally straight, but at the same time, let's look to try to open through the back of the knee more than not. Okay, and then from here, let's pull the toes towards the shin and then push the toes away. And then pull the toes in towards the shin and then pushing away. And kind of watch your ankle as you do this and just notice the movement here. So we're just looking for ankle movement right now. We'll do it one more time. Pushing the toes away. And then as you come back to center, let's turn the foot in and out a few times, nice and slow. And again, just looking for the movement of your ankle. So notice if your knee wants to move around. Can we get a little more quiet through there? Just turning the foot in and out. And you might actually start to feel like the muscles in your legs kind of start to get involved, maybe at least in your lower legs here. And then let's put into a circle. So all through those movements, and again, trying to stay quiet through the knee as we do this. Awesome. I find the slower you go, the harder it feels. So we'll just do a few. We'll go the other way too. Nice and slow, and really just trying to articulate all of that movement. And let your toes be involved too. Awesome. And then let's keep that leg out there and just lower a little bit and then back up and stay grounded through your body, connected in your core. Lower a little bit and back up. And maybe a couple more. Staying long through the spine and relax through the shoulders. Like this, the last one. And then bringing the leg up here, let's just bring it across a little to the opposite side, just slightly, and back up. And just across a little bit and back up. So here, when I say a little bit, I'm keeping my hips down on the ground. So I'm not going into a twist. I'm just taking the leg across a little and up. Okay, and then pause when you're up and try to lengthen the leg up a little bit. So remember that little hip lift we did earlier? Let's try that here. So you're pushing your leg up Your hip maybe comes up a little bit. It's kind of like a rotation and then back and down. Okay, you might feel like your left leg kind of falls a little bit to the side because you're almost going towards a rotation and back and down. So we're using the muscles around the hip here as you push the leg up and down. And then let's just release that leg for a moment and try those on the other side. So the left leg goes skyward, and we're just going to start by thinking about opening through the back of the knee. And then from there, pulling the toes a little more towards the shin, and then pushing the toes away, and then pulling the toes in, and pushing away. And again, just tracking the movement of the ankle there. Okay, and then let's try that inversion, eversion business of moving the foot out a little and in a little. Just noticing how it feels on this side. Again, we practice these things on each side of our body. We need to notice differences or movement patterns. Okay, last time, we're going to make that a circle here. So just take it right into a circle. See if you can stay quiet through the leg. Notice the parts that are harder for you. Go the other way too. Okay, and then let's do the leg drop down a bit and back up. And going at your own pace here, a little bit of movement, staying long through your spine. Dropping down slightly and up. Okay, one more time. Okay, and then with the leg up, let's start that crossing. So it's just going a little bit across and back up. And a little bit across and up. Maybe just a couple more, just slightly across. Feeling that little stretch on the outside of the hip. One more, and staying connected again through the core so we don't topple over to the side. Okay, and then as it's up there, we're going to try and take the leg up a little bit. This might feel really weird. Reaching up, there's a little space underneath your seat, and then back down. And then pressing up, these muscles around the hip and the waist start to kick in a little bit and down. It's a slight rotation too. And pressing up just a little bit and down. And let's try one more. Pressing up a little bit and down. And then release the foot. And have your feet a little bit forward of your knees here. So there's a little bit more space between your bum and your heels. And then with your arms resting by your side, let's do a few patting cow sort of movements here on the mat. So we're going to tuck the tail under, breathing out. And then breathing in, tilt the tail downward. And a little tuck under, breathing out. And then breathing in the other way. I'll let you do a few more at your own pace. Relax your head and your neck, and you might notice that your neck shifts a little bit as you move your pelvis. Okay, last time here. Okay, and then releasing. Let's pick up the right leg again, cross it over the left leg. So you're making a figure 4 shape here. Try to keep your pelvis kind of steady. You might put your hands on your leg and just push a little bit here. Lengthening. So remember that idea of the pubic bone kind of rising up a little bit towards your chin, lengthening through your back. Well, that's the idea of the pressure there. Creating length in the back. And then release the arms out to the side, and let's tip to the left. So dropping the legs over towards the left side. You can always adjust here if you needed your blanket or something underneath your legs, or you can just wiggle your feet in a little bit closer for a deeper stretch too. So opening up the hip, and maybe a little through the waist muscles. Allowing the breath to move through and into any areas where you feel tension. And we can do that on the other side as well. So let's come on back up. Just find your way to center, find that length if you want to do your pressure again into your legs. And then with the arms wide, let's tip to the other side here. So again, if you need support with something underneath you, you can. And as you get here, still thinking about that pubic bone up a little bit, so you're lengthening through your spine, and rest your head where it's comfortable. So now opening a little bit more through this left hip, like through the top of it, really letting it open up. Okay, and then with your core, coming back through to the center and uncrossing the legs. Let's bring our arms in. We'll do a couple bridges before we do that on the other side. So now I want your heels a bit more underneath your knees. So if you were to look from the side, they'd be more like vertical and nice and long here. Let's again just start with that little exhale, tuck your tail, and then just roll your hips just slightly off the floor, and then go ahead and release. Inhale, and then exhale, a little tuck under. Do that again. And then release, coming back down. And now I just want you to breathe freely whenever you need breath, but let's go up a little bit higher. You might initiate with the exhale, go up a little bit higher here. Take a breath when needed. And then coming back down, try to roll down rib by rib. And relax at the bottom. And then when you're ready, you'll go up again and take up a little bit more each time, but imagine that you're peeling away your spine and push into your shoulders as you start to come up a bit higher. And then coming back and down again, rib by rib, vertebra by vertebra, all the while maintaining some space at the back of the neck. We're going to do a few more, so I'll let you just play with that at your own pace. And imagine your knees staying as wide as your hips, so not letting them splay out to the side as you come up. The further you go up, the more you're going to want to press into your shoulders, staying off the neck bones. Coming back down, you're going to relax those shoulders a little bit. Good stuff. We'll make this our last one here. So you want to hold at the top, opening up and feeling a little bit like you're pulling your heels towards your bum without moving them anywhere, so that you're contracting through your hamstrings and your glutes. And then slowly coming down all the way back down to the bottom. As you come down, you can take that left leg and cross it over the right. You might need to move your right foot away from you a little bit to get comfortable. And hands on your thighs here. We can do that little bit of pressure again. Thinking about the pubic bone just slightly curling up. So it's not like you're trying to tuck your tail and flatten your back, but making sure your back is long. Opening up a little in the fronts of those hip creases. And then releasing your arms again out somewhere to your sides, and we'll fall to the right first. So tipping over to the right for that twisting and opening through the hips, staying long through the spine, relaxing your head wherever it's comfortable. So you could also bring your legs in a bit closer, like we did on the other side too, if you're feeling like you want a little bit more. Okay, and then let's do that on the other side. So coming back through center, find that length at center. And when you're ready, you can have your arms to your side and tip to the left. So this one's going to open a little bit more through that right hip flexor. Remember to curl the pubic bone up slightly so your back is really long here. And in other words, opening through the front of that right hip. Okay, and then let's come back here and release both feet to the ground. Arms by your sides again. We're going to take the right leg back up towards the ceiling. So nice and long through the right leg. And then now I want to move from the hip here. So let's just start by rotating the leg a little in and out and just seeing what kind of range of motion you have here. So rotating in and out. Awesome. And I've put my hands actually around my hips here just so that I know I'm not really like moving anywhere else than my leg bone. It's just rotating out a bit and in a bit. And out and in. And I can't go in very far, but I can feel the muscles starting to work as I try and do that. And then you can rest your arms to your sides again if you feel more comfortable like that. Rotating out and in a few times. Out and in. And if we do that a few times, you're probably going to start to feel some muscles kicking on right around the hip area. Okay, last one. And let that go. Okay, let's do the other one too. So your left leg skyward. And then from there, just start to move a little bit in and out. And then just sort of focusing on that movement, internal rotation, external rotation, nice and slow. And just noticing where your end range is, like where there wants to be some other movement. It's just the legs sort of rotating at the hip socket. Any differences you can observe between your two sides. Okay, one more. Okay, and then release. And let's just take our arms up and shake them out for a moment. And we're going to do the same thing with our legs. So lower your arms, take your legs up and just shake them out a bit. Awesome. And then releasing, and you can go ahead and roll over to one side. And let's come up onto all fours here. So if you want to use your blanket here, feel free. So hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. And let's do a few cat and cows here. So I'm just going to round up the back, tucking the tail, tucking the head, and then moving the other way, nice and slow, little lift of your head. And then again, rounding. So as you round your back up, a little stretch here through the back body, chin can tuck a little. And then as we go the other way, just a gentle lift and stretching through those belly muscles. Let's do one more. Okay, then come back through center. And let's actually take our knees a little bit wider here. So again, using your blanket if you need it, and maybe your hands even just a little bit wider. And let's just start to shift a little bit side to side on our hands. And I've actually turned my hands out. I didn't say that, but that's what I've done. Okay. And then maybe push back into each hip. Okay, so a little pressure back into each side. And let's make that a bit of a circle here. So going around. And try the other way. Okay, and then let's go ahead and press back, bring your big toes together, sitting back into a child's pose. You can fold your hands if you like underneath your head here. Okay, and then we're gonna rise back up. And let's go ahead and put our fists on the mat and just transfer a little bit of weight from hand to hand. And if it feels okay, transfer your fists around your mat a little bit. Walk them around your mat. I'm just finding a few different spots to kind of load up through the arms. The wrist is more in a neutral position here and loading the arms. Okay, and then let's walk our hands over to the right side of the mat. Place your hands down. Let's do a little bit of cat and cow here over on this side. So rounding up just gently, and then moving the other way, extending, and then rounding up a little bit, and moving the other way. You might not have as much movement as you did in center. It's okay. Okay, one more. Go back to center and over to the other side. And on the other side, same thing. So you're just rounding up your spine, whatever flexion you can sort of muster without being uncomfortable. And my hands are right under my shoulders. Like I haven't gone too far out to the side, so I still feel balanced. And just notice how that feels through the right side of your waist here, which is a little longer than your left. Okay, last time here. And come on back through to the center. And take a child's pose of your choosing now. So you might want your feet wider, your knees wider, pardon me. Big toes together. You might want to put your hands by your sides or out in front of you. Or maybe again, just put your hands under your forehead. Okay, and then we're gonna come forward on our mats here. So just walk your way up, lay down. And as you lie down, let's just start with our hands underneath the head. Draw the shoulders down a little bit away from the ears. So there's lots of space there. And firm up your legs so you start to feel like you've got space underneath your knees. As you lift your quads up, you pull up on the kneecaps slightly. And keeping the pelvis really heavy, let's just try lifting one leg a little bit. And then lower it back down. Try the other side when you're ready, just a little lift without pulling up the hip of the other side. Okay, so that hip stays grounded as we lift one leg, and you can alternate. So sometimes if we lift too high, I'm just gonna show you, if I lifted too high with my right leg, I'd be pulling up a little bit with my left hip if I was starting to get that hip flexor involved, and I don't want you to do that. So that's what I don't want you to do. Okay, and then what I do want you to do is keep your hips really grounded as you alternate a couple times. So in that case, if I lift my right leg, my left hip stays down. Okay, and then just release that, rock it out a little bit, take your arms down by your sides and your head to center. And raising your hands up a little bit here, firming those legs, lifting your head a little bit, starting to look slightly forward, reaching the arms down, a little bit of extension, just opening up the back body, breathing through that, and then lower down, turn your head to one side, relax, let your shoulders round, let them soften. Feel the breath moving in your back body as you lie. Okay, let's do that again. So firming your legs, roll your shoulders back and down, raise your hands up, lifting up a little here. Let's open our arms like a Y shape here, just slightly out and in, and breathing. Just opening and then bringing them in. And I'm just looking slightly forward. You don't have to have like a tremendous extension. Just a little lift is fine. Making sure this still feels comfortable, and you're using your whole back line. So we want to keep those legs engaged. We'll do one more, opening and coming in. And then as you come down, turn your head to the other side. Okay, and then head back to center. We'll do one more here in lying in prone and doing extension stuff, so lifting. So hands by our sides. Okay, let's just start here with our hands back a little bit. So hands closer to the low ribs, and just pull the shoulders down slightly. And then just see if you can lift your head a little bit here. And then come down. And then walk your hands up under your shoulders. Try that. So hands under your shoulders, pull the shoulders down, lift your head a little bit here. Okay, and then coming down. And then walk your hands out to your sides a little off your mat. And try here, lifting your head a little bit. And come down. And then go ahead and bring your hands back to where you started, close to your sides. Lift your head a little bit, press into your hands, and move all the way back into a child's pose again of your choosing. Okay, and then let's rise to all fours, and we'll go through downward dog to walk up to the top of the mat. So as you come up to all fours, thinking about rolling your shoulders outward a little bit, drawing the shoulder blades slightly down the back, nice and long, and pressing down into your hands as curl our toes under, and just start here, nice and long through the spine, lifting the knees, and let's lift the knees up a little bit more and down, and up a little bit and down, nice long through spine. Beautiful, lifting up and down. So engaging the core to do this. Okay, if you get tired, you can stop. Let's do a few more though, if you can, up and down. And breathing through that whenever you need breath. So can we continue to maintain those shoulders rolling outward? We'll make this the last one. So we're gonna come up and stretch back, keeping those shoulders rolling wide. And then as you get up there, feel free to walk it out a little bit, stretching through the legs, nice and long through the spine, let your head hang, relaxing the neck. And we'll take that pedaling literally forward. So we're gonna actually walk up as far as you can. Maybe your hands need to walk back, and then bend your knees and hang over your legs a little here, relax. Letting your head suspend. If this is too much, you can always put your elbows over your knees. If you're feeling lightheaded, get your head up a little higher than your heart that way. And then we're gonna come up to the top, so your elbows can come over your knees, and you can stand up from here, right up to the top. Awesome, you're still with me, yay. Okay, let's roll our shoulders. So nice and slow. Sometimes I start doing this really quickly, but let's keep it kind of slow here. Just rolling the shoulders. My feet are about hips distance apart. Awesome. Okay, let's go the other way. So just reversing and just thinking about the shoulder blade movement here, rolling over the surface of the rib cage. Nice rolls. Awesome. Okay, and then release the arms. And then let's just turn the palms open and turn the palms in and open. In. Awesome. So same thing we were doing on the mat, and this time you can start to take them up from here, and we can have them out a little bit. I still have them in my peripheral vision, so I'm not like way out to the sides. I'm going up. Awesome. And then I come back down, doing the same thing. So just this in and out. I'm just noticing how that feels through your shoulders as you're doing that. Okay, you can do it again when you're ready. Once you come down a bit, start coming back up. And then particularly up at the top, notice the movement, like out, in. How does that feel? Out, in, and then come on back down too. Awesome. Good. Okay, and then just shake it out a little bit here up at the top. Shake the whole body if you like. Okay, awesome. So let's do a little bit of work with our feet here, like we did on the mat there. Let's start by, in standing, just shifting the weight a bit forward and back. So you're going forward and back. And notice how your feet kind of catch you, your legs kind of catch you, your core has to kick in as you go forward and back. And let's add a bit of side to side. So shifting the weight just a little bit side to side. Awesome. I'm actually staying on both feet as I do this, but just shifting to the outsides. Okay, and then let's go kind of around in a circle. Around the feet a little bit in a circle. Awesome. Noticing how your core gets engaged there. Okay, try the other direction. Moving around. Awesome. Okay, and then coming through to the center here. So let's go ahead and just roll to the outsides of our feet. Lift the inner part of your foot. And then go back to center. And you might need to take your feet a little bit wider if this is uncomfortable. Try to lift the outside edges. And then the inside edges. And keep going there. And just try to relax your hands. I'm going to put my hands on my hips so they won't do the same thing as my feet. And just go in and out a few times here. And just, again, try to notice this movement through your ankles. Your legs are going to start to fire up. If you're feeling good with it, you can actually like hold for a few seconds. Going each way. Awesome. Good. Okay, then let's go ahead here and let's rock forward a little bit onto the balls of the feet and lift up. Good. And then come down and then pause and lift your toes up. So you're pulling your toes towards your shins and then rock forward a little bit and lift up. And then coming down and lifting the toes. And then onto the balls, beautiful. And back and just lifting the toes. And notice how your legs are responding as you do this. So we want to try to really activate the muscles in our legs. Beautiful. Rising up. And down. Awesome. A couple more. Okay, last time here. Rocking forward. Good, and down, and then let's just pedal one foot up. Try to lift that foot as high as you can without anything else happening through the leg there. Try the other side, pedaling up, awesome. And do that a few times. Nice. One more time to each side, pedaling up. Good. Okay, and then letting the feet just rest down. And then let's work a little bit on hinging here, so nice and long through the spine. We're gonna bend the knees a little bit and hinge slightly forward and back up. Okay, now as you hinge forward, take a little weight in towards the ball of the foot and come back up using your hamstrings. So you can think of the hamstrings like pulley muscles, and as you come forward a little bit, they're going to need to pull you back up. They're going to need to resist you falling forward. So let's keep going and maybe adding a little bit more. Going forward and back up. Staying really long through the spine. If you're comfortable, arms by your sides. A little bit forward and up. And we'll repeat a few more times. Remember, weight a little bit forward towards the ball of the foot rather than back in the heel here. A little forward. And up. Okay, last one. Forward. This time we're going to go all the way down, hanging forward again, releasing into a forward fold. You can relax your head here. Nice and long through your spine. Yeah, and then coming back up, your elbows can come over your knees, lift your head, rise up through to the top. Okay, and then we're going to let the weight go back a little bit into our heels as our arms come out and sit back slightly, and then back up. And then arms go out a little bit, and you can actually start to reach your arms back a little bit as you stand up, sitting back slightly in your heels, and then back up. And we'll just repeat that. And feel your feet here. You work through your feet a little bit. Feel your feet really grounded. Imagine that you're lifting your arches slightly here, pulling up to about 3 more. Okay, and then this last one, can we just hold it here? You might keep your hands out in front or take your hands to your forehead and just holding. Let's count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come forward and hang. Nice job. So just relaxing here, hanging your head, letting it all go. And this time you might roll your way up. So you could bend your knees and just slowly roll up. And if it doesn't feel good in your spine, come up the way that we did before. Coming right up to the top of the mat. Okay, and then walking up so you've got room behind you. Let's start with our right leg here. You can still see me, ace. Let's take that right leg and just start to step it back a little bit. So right leg goes back, walking it back, and then come back up, marking along your mat here. And then right leg goes back again, walking back and back up. And it doesn't matter how far you go back, walking back. Try to keep your gaze forward and thinking about the length of your spine. We'll do one more. Walking back. And then just adjust the foot so it's in a comfortable place for you to start to bend the knee, drop it down a little bit, and then come up. And see if you can bend your knee a little bit, drop down, and come up. And we're going to try and keep that knee underneath the hip as we do this. And you might put your hands on your hips as well, your pelvis. Thinking about dropping through the tail, so tail is heavy. Okay, maybe one more, dropping down a little bit, coming up, and then from there, walking it back up to the top. Okay, let's do the other side as well. So left leg, just walk it back, marking those spots along the mat, and back up again, a few times. And walking back. Okay, so last time we'll take it back and finding that spot where you can begin to drop the knee any amount. Okay, so the knee drops down a little bit and back up and down slightly and up. And just staying strong here with the head tall, the shoulders relaxed, nice knee drops. Thinking about opening through the front of this hip here. Okay, let's do like 2 more if we can. Okay, and then come on back up through to the top. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the right leg here. We're gonna try a little movement. I'm gonna face you. Okay, so feet about hips distance apart. I'm just gonna open my right leg to about 45 degrees. And then I'm gonna come back. So remember we did this lying down with our leg skyward, right? Let's have our hips aimed forward and just open your right leg a little bit and then come back. So it's really important that this doesn't happen, right? Now my whole body is moving, so it's just my leg. I'm opening to about 45 degrees and then coming back. Opening slightly and then coming back. Perfect. Yeah, and you can hinge on your heel if you like, if that feels better, right? Instead of picking the whole leg up, that might feel like more anchored. Opening slightly and coming back. And again, those hips stay forward, so there's no movement there. What you're gonna probably feel is your glute get involved, the rotators in your glute. Awesome. Okay, then let's pause for a moment, and then let's just try to pick up that right leg off the floor, pull the hip up, and then put down. So the muscles around the waist get involved. We do a little pull up, and then down. Excellent, so right hip pulls up, the leg lifts, hovers over the floor, and then we put it down. Okay, one more. And down. So let's do both of those on the other side. So starting just by turning your leg open a little bit and then coming back. And you might look down and just go like, how far is 45? Think of 90 as the outside of your foot coming, 90 degrees from the other. So it doesn't need to be a huge distance, and it might even be a little bit less than that. A little turn out, using the muscles in your legs, right? Maybe even just feeling, what do I feel around my hip? Letting those muscles get involved. Remember, you can also pivot on your heel as you do this, just opening slightly and coming back, and opening slightly and coming back. Okay, let's try that a couple more times. So again, this is just really about kind of firing up those little muscles in through the hip. Okay, try not to bend your knee too as you do it, if you can. Try to keep the leg straight. Nice. Okay, and then from there, pause, and let's try to lift up a little bit, and then put it down, and lifting a little bit, pulling up through those waist muscles. And again, just like we were doing before, if it feels good, you can kind of hold for a couple of seconds. Pulling up, putting down. Awesome. Lift and down. Nice. Okay, let that go. Let's again be up at the top of the mat so we can move back a little bit along the mat. So we're going to turn that leg open, right leg open, about 45 degrees. So it's not a huge distance. And then we're going to pick up the legs. We're kind of combining those two movements. We're going to walk it back a little bit, okay? And then pick it up and walk it back in. I've got my hands on my hips because I want to ideally keep my hips mostly aimed forward. Mostly, I say, right? I might move a little bit, but I want you to feel your glutes working here as you go back. And then back up again. Okay. And you can play with this. Like if it feels good, keep going. Go a little further. See how that feels, okay? If you get back there, you need to sort of adjust the angle a little bit and go for it. And remember, it's mostly facing forward. Now, I want you to pick a spot behind you, so you're in sort of like a warrior one shape. And then think about that eversion business, I think it is, rolling towards the outside edge of your foot is what I want you to do on that back foot. So you're lifting the arch. So feel the muscles of the legs get involved. Drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone a little bit up here. And let's roll our shoulders in this position. So little shoulder rolls. Okay, so nice and long through that back leg. Make sure your knee feels comfortable. You're supported here through your legs. And then from there, roll the shoulders back and down. Let's raise our arms up and outwardly rotate those arms. So rolling the arms out, and then maybe lift a little through the chest and maybe start to look up a little bit. A nice big stretch through the front of the body. And then releasing and bringing the arms back and down. And then this time, let's turn on the foot and just walk back up to the top. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So we're going to start with the leg slightly rotated out. More than 45. Kick on those muscles through your glute. And then just start to take it back a little bit and back up. A little bit back. Just see what that feels like. It might be different for you. Okay? And staying really solid through the pelvis forward. And I'm going to do that one more time, and then this time I'm going to find that sort of warrior one position. So left leg is back, my hips are mostly forward. You can again adjust on that back leg on the ball of the foot. And leg is really strong, and imagine that you're lifting the arch, push a little bit into the outside of the foot. The leg is really strong, dropping the tail down as though the front of the body, we're lifting up slightly. We'll roll the shoulders here. So front leg is bent, back leg is mostly straight. Awesome. And after rolling the shoulders back and down, you can raise the arms up and turning out a little here, stretching. My arms are a little bit wide, just feels better in the shoulders. You can have them narrower or whatever. And then lifting up a little through the chest and maybe through the head and making sure you can still breathe really, really comfortably. Okay, and then releasing, arms coming down and pivoting on that foot and walking it back up towards the top. Awesome. Okay, so standing about hips distance apart here, let's just go ahead and take our right leg back behind the left and then back up. And then our left leg back and up and right. And this doesn't need to be exact. So I'm actually just stepping my leg across to the other side. And I'm just stepping across. I'm staying within the parameter of my mat and I'm just doing a little stepping. So we're going to break that down a little bit more. So let's get to the same side with our right leg kind of behind the left. And then just bring the right arm forward and the left arm back a little bit. And then step up and change. And step up and change. So we're getting a little bit of twisting. And this is kind of like the movement we get when we're walking. I mean, this is definitely an exaggeration of that, but that contralateral arm to leg, opposite arm to leg business. And again, it doesn't matter if you're not stepping in the same spot each time. That's great. Opening a little here, each side, so creating a little twist. All right, the next time that your right leg is back and your left leg is forward, just reach and open a little bit. If you want to adjust the stance, go for it. Opening here into a bit of a twist. Awesome. So weight on the outside edges of your feet, ideally. Okay, and then release, come back. Let's try the other side. So your left leg is behind your right. And then again, you're opening and again, adjusting as comfortable and just reaching back a little bit, opening. Awesome. And then release and come up to the top of the mat. And let's bring our arms around to our side and open them up here. Okay, ground through your feet, lift a little through your head, maybe look up skyward. And then as you're ready, circle your arms around, come down, forward folding. Let's release the back here, tuck the chin in a little bit. Allow your back to feel long. Okay, and then when you're ready, you're coming back up. You can bring your elbows over your knees, come all the way up to the top. Good. And then as you come up to the top, I'm going to face you again here so that we can just start to play a little bit with the waist. So I'm just going to let my waist tip to each side, or I guess my upper body tip a little bit to each side. I'm putting my hands on my waist though, so I can kind of feel that movement. Okay. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, can we tip over to one side, drop that arm, and maybe lift the leg a little bit so you're pulling your hip up towards your rib. Okay, and then release. And then the other way, and see if you can pull the hip in a little bit. So we're contracting those waist muscles. And then release. And you can do that to each side. You can relax your arms if you like. Just feeling that little bit of contraction in the waist here as we move side to side. Yeah, so you really want to just kind of hold for a moment and feel like your oblique muscles are kicking in a bit here on the sides. Okay, so last time to each side, lift. Okay, and then let's take our left arm up and lean over and feel like your hip and your ribs are kind of pulling towards each other. So leaning over and then back up. Let's do the other side. So the right arm comes up and I'm leaning to my left. Awesome. And again, just feeling like you can pull those ribs in a little bit more. And back up. Let's do that again on the other side. So switching, just feeling like you could pull over a little bit so that there is a focus here of what's drawing you into the side. And then back up. And last time, over. Nice. And then back up again. Awesome. And then let's move wide legs. So I'm going to stay facing you right now. So I'm wide across my mat. And remember that internal rotation we did? Well, let's try that here. Let's internally rotate our leg as much as possible. So it's like you're going to feel a little bit more pigeon-toed than usual. Okay, so try to turn them in and just notice what happens there through your hips. Maybe you might feel like my adductors get involved, my inner thighs, a little bit around my waist. Okay, and then we're going to keep that left leg turned in like it is, and then slide on this right heel, turn that right knee open, and bend the right knee. Now, if you want to shimmy it out a little further, if you need to get a little deeper into the pose, that's great. Try to keep the knee aimed over the heel, okay, and that back foot is turned in a little bit, lifting the arch. Nice, so lots of weight into the outside edge of that foot. And then from here, put your hands on your waist, and then again, let's just do a little tip forward, and a little tip the other way. So allowing our legs to stay stable as we just move the upper body a little bit here. Awesome. So again, there's like a focus here. What's tipping us through those waist muscles? You can release your arms and let your arms kind of go with you. Awesome. Doesn't need to be a huge movement, just focusing on your waist muscles right now. One side stretches, the other side contracts. Okay, awesome. Last time. This time as you tip back on your left leg, reach your right palm upward. And then let's go the other way. So as you tip forward on your right side, you can bend that right arm and lift the left palm upward. Can we do it again? Let's go back. Just breathe when you need breath. So use your waist muscles to tip you back slightly. And then forward again. And one more time. Good. Legs stay super solid through this. They're working, they're switched on, stabilizing. Okay, and then back up through the center. And then again, turn your toes in. Okay, so remember, let's find that inward rotation. So it's like more than normal. You're trying to rotate in as much as possible. Different movement, kick on the muscles in your legs. Relax your shoulders there, and then turn your left foot out. So rotating on that heel. Remember, you can always adjust the stride a little bit here. Bending at that left knee. Make sure the knee is over the heel here as you're doing this. Nice and long through the crown of your head. And again, a little tip and a tip. Good, lots of pressure on the outside edge of your right foot here. Making sure that your knee isn't going anywhere on that front leg. Awesome, and it doesn't need to be a big movement, but just notice the control that you have in your waist muscles. Remember, you can relax your arms too as you get going. And we'll tip a little bit to each side just so the arms loose. And then tip back and bring that left arm up. Palm goes up, looking up maybe to the hand, but maybe just forward here if that's more comfortable. And then as we go forward, just remember to breathe through this. Right arm can come up. Lengthening over, feeling the muscles contract a little through the waist on each side really, because it's going to support. And we'll do that back and forth. You just go at your own pace. We'll do a few of them. Okay, so we started with a sort of exalted warrior. Let's finish with the Parsvottanasana style warrior. And then come back up through to the top. Awesome. Then let's turn our toes forward and kind of give that up a little bit. Turn your toes forward now. They still might feel a little bit internally rotated. The outside edge is more like parallel with the sides of the mat. And from here, pull up a little bit through the energy through the legs. You feel strong here, pulling up through the crown of the head. You can bend your knees a little bit, and we're going to come forward. Let's bring the weight a little bit forward to the ball of the foot. As you come down, hang forward. Release your head here if you can. If this is too much, elbows over your knees. Head can stay lifted, but if you can, hang forward and release the head as much as possible. Thinking about pulling up a little bit on your quads here. Weight a little bit forward, as I mentioned, in the balls of the feet. This is going to prevent you from going back too far in through your hips. It's going to make your hamstrings work, okay? Especially as we come back up here. Keep that weight a little bit forward. Come up halfway. Hands can come onto your legs, rising up to the top. Beautiful. And then let's heel toe, bring the legs closer together. Awesome. So give yourself some room on your mat. So go to one side, so that we can, again, move back into a downward facing dog here. So again, let's turn our arms out and just circle them up. And as you do this, stay really long through your spine, reaching up towards the top. And then coming down here, you can bend through your knees as you fold forward, tuck your chin in a little bit here. Again, hanging forward, nice and long through your body. Now keep your knees bent, slide your hands up your shins, just underneath your kneecaps, and think about rolling your shoulders open, so out a little bit, shoulder blades down your back, nice and long through your back here. Bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands to the floor, and walk back, keeping those arms rolling open here as we move back into a downward facing dog again. So notice how your legs feel after working them through the practice. Your arms, that awareness of that outward rotation. See if we can hold here for a few breaths. Just feeling strong and stable and still dynamic with the breathing. Okay, I'm going to stay for a couple more breaths. If we need to come down to child's pose, that's fine too. Okay, and then let's all join each other in a child's pose of our choosing. Relaxing, softening through the head. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can sit up here, and we're gonna take our legs, just shake them out in front of us for a moment. So right here, I'm putting my hands behind me, and they're a fair way back, and they're slightly wide. I want you to think about, instead of having your shoulders roll in, having them roll out, which is gonna lift our chest a little bit. Okay, so just shaking out, rolling open those arms a little, lifting through the chest. We're gonna keep that as we take our feet to the floor, so they're a bit wider than our hips, maybe as wide as the mat. And just start to let the knees sway a little bit. So I'm letting myself come off one hip as I go to one side. So my knees fall to one side, the opposite hip is lifting. I'm trying to stay a little bit open through my shoulders. So watch that this doesn't start happening. Lift up and open through those shoulders. Okay, you can always move your hands a little bit wider. Okay, so nice and wide through the shoulders. Some nice movement of rotation here. We're gonna rotate over to the left side. And I'm going to take the right arm with me and place it down. And then from here, just stand your hands comfortably so you can lower down a little towards the floor. Now you can either rest your head on the floor here or just have it hovering. And then we're going to come back up, and we'll do that on the other side too. So it's going across to the opposite side, left arm follows. Again, place those hands. You might just have your head hovering as you lean in or bring your head down. And then coming back up. Let's do that again on the first side. So coming around, beautiful, coming down. And then again, one more time, other way. So nice releasing of your hips, coming down. Okay, and then back up, and let's come through to center here. We're gonna come down onto our backs again, so lying down. And as you lie down, let's just relax for a moment here. Bring the knees to the chest, kind of check back in, see how the body is feeling, what's different, what's changing. Relax the head and the neck. Noticing if you feel any more grounded in your body. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and put the feet down. And let's raise this right leg up towards the sky. And have your palms down right now, just so you feel a little bit more connected. Reach that right leg up again, like we were doing earlier, and then lower down. And then reach it up a little bit, so you start to lift your hip up off the floor and down. And then reach it up so much. I'm going to kick the microphone in a second here, so I'm going to move over. Reach it up so much so that you can go over to your side and let that leg come down. Okay? If that's too much, just bend the knee or something like that. Okay? You're over to the side. And try to stay nice and long through your shoulders. Your right shoulder might lift up a little bit, but try to keep it heavy. So nice big stretch there. Twisting. And then coming back up, bringing the legs up through center. Let's try that on the other side. So your left leg is going to go skyward. Let's just start there. Palms are down and reach that leg up a little bit. So you kind of tip a little bit over to your right side through your lower body and lifting up and down and up and then over and letting that leg come down here. Remember, you can always bend it. Okay, so making sure that that feels comfortable, nice and long here through your spine. Left shoulder is heavy. It might come off a little bit, but if it's coming up off a lot, I'd come out of the pose a little bit. It might be a bit too deep. Just feeling that nice stretch there through your body, side line. And you might notice this shape is a little bit like what we did in standing. We were stepping one leg behind and just rotating. A little precursor for this deeper stretch. And then come on back up, use your core, come back to the center. And putting that foot down. Let's try it. So this might not be appropriate, might need to do it the same way. Let's try with the left leg long and the right leg skyward. Okay, and then reach the leg up and down a few times. Up and down. So interesting use of those muscles around the hip that we were sort of getting warmed up earlier. And then as your leg comes up, come over to the side, letting it come down. Okay, and then see if you can bend the other knee here again. And try to walk it back. Okay? And then from there, maybe your right hand can come down. Maybe you can catch that foot. Yeah, you might need to kind of move yourself around a little bit. If it gets really uncomfortable, back off and just let it go. Okay, your right shoulder might be lifting a little bit here. That's okay. Opening the chest. And if you're holding onto the leg or even just sending it back, a little bit more stretch to the hip. Awesome. So if that's not feeling completely yummy for you, please let it go and just do something that feels better. And then, of course, we'll try that on the other side. So we'll release, use the core, come back through center, put the foot down. Just set yourself back to center, lengthening the right leg out. Left leg goes skyward. And then from here, you're pressing that foot up a little bit and down. And right away as I do that, I kind of turn out on that right side. The left leg goes up a little bit and down And then let's push it up and go over to the side. So remember, you can always modify a little bit. We'll try bending that right knee, sending it back, and then maybe scooping that left hand down, maybe catching and holding. I'm just noticing how that feels here with the left leg, either out long or even a little bit bent is fine. So big twist. Opening that right hip is part of the focus. So finding the balance. Okay, and then releasing that leg and lifting your leg back up, back to center, placing it down. And now, for now, let's just bring our feet together and push the feet together. We won't stay here very long, so I actually want you to physically push your feet in together so that you're creating some strength through the legs. Arms can open out to your side, and we're just gonna hold for a few breaths, opening through the knees, or through the hips, I should really say. Nice and strong through that foot press. Rolling your back, relax a little bit here. Okay, and then bringing your feet onto the floor, and we'll do one more twist. Take your right leg over your left this time, and see if you can bring the leg more tightly on top and twist to the left. And if you can't do this twist for any reason, you can just do any other twist that feels good. Again, just coming back to the focus of this practice of sort of wringing out the energy through the joints and finding all those little muscles that create rotation. And then coming back up and crossing, other side comes over. See if you can kind of pull the legs in towards each other and lean to your right. Keeping your left shoulder as heavy as possible here. And then back to the center and uncross. And again, just pull those knees in. Do little circles. Feel your circles now. And try the other direction too. Just notice anything coming up, shifting, changing in your body. And we're going to settle into Shavasana here. So you can stretch out your legs and just relax. If you need any props here to make you more comfortable, please go ahead and find those. Just allow your eyes and jaw to begin relaxing. And feeling the weight of your arms and your legs. Feeling the temperature of the palms of your hands. And just let your fingers and thumbs soften. And the sensation in the soles of your feet. And let your toes, each of them relax. And slowly now you can just begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And just starting to move gently in your body in ways that feel good for you right now. So there's no rush, no urgency to this coming back. When you are ready, though, please come on up and let's sit just for a moment here as we close this practice. And just notice how you feel. Once again, checking in. Anything that feels different has surfaced, shifted, or changed. Just notice. You can bring your hands into your heart center and bow forward into your own heart, bowing to yourself here with love and kindness. And as we bow to ourselves in this way, let's bow to each other. So this intention moves outward from just ourselves into the selflessness of ourselves and all of us, into each of us. As we bow to ourselves, we bow to each other. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes and raise your gaze. Namaste, beautiful people.